Mike, can you go wake up me? 'Cause I need to talk to her. Okay, thank you. Hey, sorry about you. My my stomach keeps tightening really bad. I just wanted you to pray for me. I have an appointment at 1. And, I don't know, they've been happening all night.
My Braxton Hicks back to back after praying was like, okay, God is like, you need to go. He did a culture, okay? That pain was excruciating when he was done, okay? It made a popping noise and my baby went crazy. She was kicking me. The contractions were much more intense. The Braxton Hicks were just, oh my God, it was awful. Fingers and just shoving, like pushing my insides in. It is painful. It's not like sex. It is painful. Like I can feel her just really pushing. And right when I feel her pushing and she says this is gonna hurt a little bit, it's like from that point forward, everything is super fast. Hey y'all, it's Noah Beauty and I am back with another video. I know it's been a while. I am going to pre-record a few videos before I get back to making content that will cater to my channel, just because I've been through some things and I want to talk about it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is I had a beautiful baby girl. She's a preemie. She is currently 29 weeks and some days, and she is not with me. She's at the hospital in NICU receiving wonderful care. We've been very blessed. A lot of prayers, but when this video goes up, she'll be at my house because I'm not going to release anything until our little NICU journey has completed and she's at home and she's doing wonderful and we have her little outlet and monitors and all the different things. So I won't release the video until that happens. But I'm going to talk about my labor and delivery story. So Saturday night, don't remember the exact date. It was May something. I'll put the date here. I was having a really bad constipation, and if you've been pregnant, you are constipated. It's just something that happens. And I decided to get a caramel frappuccino to help with my constipation, because prior to me being pregnant, this is one of the things that I did to just clear myself out if I couldn't do it any other way. Caramel frappuccino worked, okay? So I did that, and immediately I went to the restroom and I started to feel better, but my stomach started to do this. Like literally, I could feel my stomach going in and out, in and out, in and out. At first it was really, really light and it didn't bother me as much. And then it was really, really, really tight, and it was like intense. And then it calmed down again. So then I ate dinner. It was around 10. My sister was trying to get me to go to the hospital. I don't want to go to the hospital. So I kept doing that. Around 11, it calmed down significantly, actually. And then at 12, it ramped back up. Okay, from 12 to 3, they were like Braxton Hicks. If you ever heard of Braxton Hicks, it is basically false contractions that prepares the body for labor. So I was convinced I was having Braxton Hicks from 12 to 3. And from 12 to 3, it was pretty intense, but they were kind of far apart, like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, all of those. And then at 3 o'clock, the ones I was having at 3, even though they were far apart, they were really intense. And I realized, like, through this, I couldn't really feel my baby move, because my baby don't sleep, okay? She really don't sleep. I'm not just saying that. She sleeps and she's moving everywhere. Even now at the NICU, every nurse, every doctor, you know, she's a fighter. She is very feisty and very busy, and she was just like that in my womb. So I was like, man, I haven't felt her move. So then I started to pray. And if you're not religious or you don't believe, then this probably ain't the video from you, because you're going to hear me say, I was praying. I'm Christian. I know I gave up makeup about 2 years ago, and I was just praying so hard that if I needed to go to the hospital, because I ain't going, okay? I'm not going unless I need to go to the hospital, unless God sit on my shoulders and be like, you need to go to the hospital, you need to go. So I was praying at 3. I was like, God, I need a sign. Let me know if I need to go to the hospital. Just please, because, you know, something's not right. I didn't know what it was. So at 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock was the turning hour for me. 4 o'clock was it. Okay, so from 4, I had my contractions pretty much like every 2 or 3 minutes. Braxton Hicks things every 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, they were coming hard, they were coming fast, they were intense. I could only get relief by going to the restroom. I literally wanted to take my cover and just lay on the floor in the restroom, because every time I would get up, I had to go back. I used the restroom, I'm not even joking, 12 times, okay, that night. I used the restroom 12 times, and I was just constantly going, and I just needed so much relief. I just had all this air and pressure. Every time I went to the restroom, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. And by 5, you know, having my Braxton Hicks back to back after praying was like, okay, God is like, you need to go. If this don't tell you need to go, you need to go. And then even while I was having my contraction, I was just reading, you know, Braxton Hicks versus contractions, because I mean, if it's a false contraction, I want to know. So I ran across the article. I'll see if I can find it and link it down below. But it basically was saying if they're coming pretty consistently, if you can't get them to go away. So the way you can get Braxton Hicks to go away is to drink water and stay hydrated. I was very hydrated during my pregnancy, actually. Even though I was throwing up water, I was drinking it like it was crazy. And to walk. And I was doing all those things, and it wasn't helping not one bit. I didn't feel any difference. They were not going away. And the other thing that I read is that the baby will empty out the womb before they come. And I was like, oh my God. So it's like 4, almost 5. At this point, my sister, again, if you're not religious, don't watch this video, but my sister is an amazing prayer warrior, okay? I have some amazing prayer warriors on my team, and I know once I ask them to pray for me, I'm going to see a difference. So I decided I need to call my sister, but if I call her at 7, I'm going to the hospital. She's not going to let me sit here. So I waited until 9 and went through all those Braxton Hicks until 9 o'clock. They wasn't as consistent as they were at 4. I think 4 was just God letting me know that I need to go to the hospital. So at 8 something, I told my husband, called my gynecologist. At 9, I called my sister and told her to pray. Now, this is a turning point for me, because I already knew I was supposed to go to the hospital. I knew something was wrong. God had already showed me and told me, you know, in the way that he can, like, you need to go. And I was still disobedient, because God knows me. That's what I do. He knows. I'm disobedient. He's worked on a lot of things with me, but when it comes to like hospitals and things like that, I'm just, So I had my husband call the gynecologist. They had an answering service, and it turns out they couldn't get in touch with me, so we ended up calling again to get an appointment at 1 o'clock. So from 10 o'clock Friday night to Saturday morning, I was having Braxton Hicks contractions. I went to my gynecologist, and they did a cervical check. No, not a cervical check. He did a culture, okay? That pain was excruciating when he was done, okay? It made a popping noise, and my baby went crazy. She was kicking me. The contractions were much more intense. The Braxton Hicks were just, oh my God, it was awful. I started to cry. They told me to go out the back door instead of the front door and to go straight to ER. So my hospital is like 40 minutes away. I was like, I need to eat something before I go. So I got Jack in the Box egg rolls. My baby apparently loved those because usually I throw up everything I eat. But I was able to keep those down. And I went to the hospital. And from that point forward, I was called like right when I got in there. They had all my gynecologist had already called. I have an amazing gynecologist sent by God, okay? My gynecologist was sent by God for sure. But they had already talked and they knew, and so I had Braxton Hicks contractions. They did my vitals, and then they sent me to the labor and delivery emergency room. At that point, I got my gown, and the nurse told me that the doctor would be in shortly, and I was like, okay. She asked me if I was still having Braxton Hicks, and at this time I was, but I guess with the eating and I had slept, they were not as intense. Praise Jesus. Okay, they had calmed down significantly compared to that night and that morning, but I was still having them. So I told her, yeah, and she said, okay, well, the doctor will be in here in a minute. So I'm laying in there. I called my sister, called my husband, because they went to the hospital with me, and I was like, come in the room. I'm in room 21. Yeah, I was in room 21. Come in the room, and I got to get dressed. I had to go to the restroom. I'm still having to go to the restroom like crazy, okay? Even though my contractions, my Braxton Hicks was a lot better. I keep going between Braxton Hicks and contractions, and you'll see why. So when the doctor comes in, she says she's going to do a check. And she is also called a ultrasound. So the ultrasound person comes at the same time the doctor comes, and the nurse is in there, and she tells me this is gonna hurt a little bit and I'm sorry. So she goes and she's like, you know, in my vagina, and she's pushing. Like I can literally feel her like taking her fingers and just shoving, like pushing my insides in. It is painful. It's not like sex. It is painful. Like I can feel her just really pushing. And right when I feel her pushing and she says this is gonna hurt a little bit, it's like from that point forward, everything is super fast. She has the ultrasound and she looks over there. This is the first time they didn't ask me if I wanted to see my baby on the ultrasound. Usually when I get an ultrasound, even when I was in the high risk doctor, they're like, do you want to see your baby? Nobody wanted to ask me if I wanted to see my baby this time. She looked at the ultrasound. She looked at me. And she said, okay, you're at risk for having this baby really early. So I'm going to I'm going to talk to your gynecologist. Let's get, oh, okay. And, you know, she really wasn't talking to me. The ultrasound person really wasn't talking to me. I could tell something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. She had asked for the steroids, which is a shot that you take to help the baby's lungs if you're in danger of delivering early. So she had asked the nurse to get the steroids. I knew about the steroid shot because I had read, and that thing hurts. It hurts. Oh my God, it hurts so bad. It hurts. Just thinking about it, it hurts so bad. But she had got the steroid shot. Everything was moving super quickly. She was like, you're 4 centimeters dilated. You're not leaving the hospital until you deliver this baby. We don't let you go home at this state. I mean, it was just like quick. I am not crying from the information, but from the steroid shot, I am bawling my eyes out, and it's just so much happening so quickly. And they say they're gonna hook me up to magnesium. They run in and do my IV, which hurts so bad. It doesn't normally hurt that bad, but they had to do it through the side of my wrist instead of the front, and it hurt. And then they hooked it up, and she was like, we're gonna start you on magnesium right now. It's not for you, it's for the baby's brain, and it should hopefully stop the contractions. But if it don't, you're in the right place. And I'm like, wow, I'm not even 26 weeks. I'm 25 weeks at this point. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. So all this happens, and my sister, you know, she's a prayer warrior. She was keeping me calm, you know, like telling me God had already orchestrated, it was taken care of. My husband was doing his best, you know, in the earthly realm to take care of me. But some battles, okay, you got to fight in the spiritual realm. And this was definitely one of those battles that we were losing in the earthly realm, and we had to fight in the spiritual realm. And that's where we were going to win. So from that point forward, I couldn't get up. Like, I had to go to the restroom, and she was like, I'm sorry, mama, you can't move. So I'm like, I can't even walk. I mean, I was on strict, okay, bed rest. They wanted to put a catheter in me, and they did put a catheter. But I mean, everything from that point on was just so different, and it was really scary. I'm a first time mom. I thank God I read a ton of stuff, and he just kind of led me to the stuff that I would experience. So because I had read, I knew about it, but it was crazy. So I was on magnesium for, I believe, 48 hours. I had a catheter, and I really wanted to pee, like in a toilet, okay? A catheter, when you pee, you can feel the pee release, if that makes sense. And it feels like you're peeing on yourself, but you're not. You're peeing in the catheter, and it's just, it's not. It sucks. I was grateful because I knew what it was doing, and it was helping my baby, and it was helping me, and the contractions did stop. They put my tummy on a monitor so they could keep up with the baby and the heart rate and what I was doing, but my baby's all over the place, okay? So they had to continuously come in and change that monitor to find said baby. My baby decided to, whenever the monitor would get there, to run away and come back. Run away and come back. So whenever my baby would run away too much, then they'd have to go and find her and put it on her to keep up with her heart rate, because the monitoring at this point was super important, okay? My contractions stopped. They didn't stop. They got really light, and I found out that the Braxton Hicks that I was having was actually in contractions, and it was active labor, okay? My doctor, who I had at ER, did not tell me that, and I'm so grateful she didn't. But my gynecologist visited me that night, and he told me that I was pretty much already dilated. I was 80% effaced, and the doctor felt my baby's feet and pushed it back in. Yeah, so yeah. I was like, from that point forward, I was super scared. He specifically told me, he was like, okay, right now your baby is sideways. So she's literally laying like this. I'm going to get a picture of her. Not a picture of her, but a picture of what transverse is. Because at first my baby was breech. Now she's transverse. He was saying that I would have to have a vertical incision, which is the one I didn't want. I wanted the horizontal incision that everybody else has. So he was like, if she kicks open that water and her legs get the kicking and she breaks that water, you need to have a C-section stat. So we're just going to keep baby on the monitor and just check you consistently and see what happens. So that was like 11 o'clock at night. He came and told me that. I really felt at that point my life changed, because I was so grateful, because I could have given birth to my baby in the toilet, because I'm telling y'all, the relief I was getting from pushing was insane. It was like I just felt so much better every time I pooped. And I know that's like TMI, but it's true. Like, I just felt so much relief. You know how if you're constipated and you finally go to the restroom? It was like that, but times 10. So he said, I'm just gonna, we're gonna watch it, and let's stop you off the magnesium. They gave me a pill. I forgot the name of it, but it's supposed to stop preterm labor. and they were still monitoring me. And then my nurse came and she was like, we're gonna move you into another room. And I was like, why? And she was like, oh, it's bigger, you're still gonna be on the monitor, we're just gonna move you there. So I was like, okay. I usually don't like to change or anything. When my sister was like, if you need to move, Ashley, you need to move. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna move. So my husband got back really late, like 1 o'clock or something that night, and she kept saying, well, if you want to stay, you can. I was like, no, we're moving, just waiting on my husband. So my husband came, we packed up everything at like 12 or 1 and moved to the other room. We were there. The nurse that was there did not put me back on the monitor, so we don't know what was happening with my baby at that time. But at this time, he told me everything was vertical. My gynecologist said that I need to be extremely careful. Everything is vertical from this point forward. She could come. So I'm just like panicking. Everything I do, like if I go to the restroom, I literally like close my legs really, really tight. And I pee, and then I get back in the bed, and I'm like this. Like if I go to the restroom, I'm like this when I pee, and then I get back in the bed, I just open my legs enough to get back in the bed, and then I close them again. So that happened several times. I went to the restroom like 3 times back to back when they took me off the magnesium. I could feel the contractions starting back, but they were still really light. And then by the time I got to this room, they were a little bit heavier, but I was like, I'll just go to sleep. And I literally, like I said, I would go to the restroom like this, move my legs to get out of the bed and then come back. And so I was like literally in the exact same position that I got into the bed. I was exactly like that, and my water broke. I was terrified. I literally like look at my sister and I'm like, oh, I think my water just broke. Because remember, we want to keep this baby in as long as we can. We want her lungs to develop. We want just everything for her to grow inside of my womb. It's just a safer place for her. And at this time, I had asked God to like bind my baby and everything in my stomach. But my sister had said maybe she needs to come out. And so I stopped praying for that and just prayed for him to just watch over the entire situation. I called my nurse. No, my husband called my nurse. She came in. She said, I'm going to smell just to see what this is. And she said, okay, looks like your membranes have ruptured, which is the medical term for water breaking, okay? From this point forward, I am absolutely terrified. Now, I never talk about this on my channel, but I do have anxiety, and it was hitting the roof at this moment. So they told me they were going to take me to the operating room and, I was basically having my C-section. Baby was still in the position that she was in. So we get to the operating room. We get to the operating room, and the same doctor that pushed my baby's feet back in, praise Jesus, hallelujah, Father Yah, she was there. And I'm so grateful because I don't like new people to come in. I don't like, to meet someone, and the first time that I meet them, they're operating on me. So a lot of the nurses that I had prior to my actual delivery was there. My actual gynecologist wasn't there while I was up, but he came when I was asleep. So, just having those familiar faces helped me. And they told me that they were going to take me to the operating room, and I was like, okay. So on Grey's Anatomy, you see the lights and they just be going. So I thought I was going to be like a ton of lights, and it was just one light because my gynecologist literally moved me next door to the operating room, which is great because when she checked me, she was like, okay, you're 4 centimeters dilated still, so we're gonna do a C-section. We'll go ahead and get the spinal ready. She was talking to the nurses and everything, and then she checked again and she was like, okay, you're 6 centimeters dilated, we can still do a C-section, we just need to rush it a little bit longer. And then right when she said that, she was like, I need a heart rate on this baby. And that's when they brought the monitor in, and I knew, being a mother, this is the first time, Mom, I said once they put that monitor on my baby, because if y'all remember, I said she runs away and she comes back, she runs away and she comes back. She does not like anything on her, even when she was getting ultrasounds. So they put the monitor on my stomach, and I kid you not, my stomach just like balled up with so much pressure. I was like, pressure, pain. And then she was like, okay, you're 8 centimeters dilated. We're gonna do an emergency C-section. You're gonna go to sleep and wake up and you're gonna have a baby. And at that point, they put a oxygen mask on my face. They rushed something through my IV and apologized because it was gonna burn. And she said, breathe, and I was out of there, okay? I was done. I was asleep. I just remember praying before. Oh, I did miss a part. So, you know, that's one of the reasons I didn't want to write this down, is I wanted to be real. I had read about a lady who gave birth to a baby that was sleeping, and when she asked what happened, they told her that she ran out of amniotic fluid. She peed right before she gave birth. So when I was being rushed to give birth, I asked, could I pee? Because I remember reading that story, and I was just like, can I pee? Can I have to pee so bad? Can I pee? And one of the nurses looked at me with the most concern in her eyes, and she literally said, Ashley, please don't pee. And I was like, I'm a teacher, I can hold it. So I just like closed my legs and thought like I'm in a classroom and I can't pee. So I can hold my pee for a really long time. If you're a teacher, you know what I'm talking about. Like, we can hold some pee. So by the time they put the catheter on and she said breathe and I could pee, I was already asleep. I gave birth to a 2-pound baby because I was eating like crazy, because I had gestational diabetes. Oh my God. We'll talk about that another time. But anyway, I gave birth to a 2-pound baby. Praise God. She was 2 pounds. They started working on her right away. She's currently 2 pounds and 7 ounces. And my story is a miracle, a testimony. And it's just like, you know, like God really stepped in and helped your girl out, and I'm so grateful. It's not the ideal situation, but I'm so happy. And if I was to be completely honest, I'm so happy I'm not pregnant. I would love for her to still be in me, but I had a rough pregnancy, and I'm grateful for my doctors, my nurses, the hospital that currently has my baby, you know, and I know that God ordained all of this. That's just a wonderful feeling to know that God stepped in. And the only reason I'm uploading this video, because I'm very private and y'all really don't know what happens behind the scenes, is because I think it could help somebody, and I feel like God put it on my heart for somebody out there to watch this video, and maybe they're having Braxton Hicks and it's actual contractions, maybe they're already dilated, maybe they're ephus, you know, like all those things that first time moms don't know that could possibly save their baby, because we was close. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you guys soon, hopefully very soon, because I'm actually going to talk about why my pregnancy was so rough and what happened prior to actually giving birth to my beautiful baby girl. Bye.